Great pleasure now to talk about the IPO of Waaree Energies in a dull market. Can it really charge up the screen, which is what the grey market premium seems to be indicating? But interestingly, it's a bet on made in India for the world. What Honorable Prime Minister spoke about after COVID, that Indian companies now they really need to match up to what could be called as not only made in India, but made in India for the world. And Waaree Group is one group which has demonstrated ability, capability, and even shareholder satisfaction when it comes to really fulfilling the dream of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, made in India, made for the world. It's a play on energy transition, which is the most talked about, debated, discussed and ideated topic. So let's take the conversation forward with the chairman, Mr. Doshi, and the CFO, Ms. Shrivastava. Thank you both for joining us. I distinctly remember 2 years ago when I had visited the unit, and I came back with very fond memories as to what kind of great work you're doing. I'm sure it's a great feeling for any entrepreneur when you're going public.
Definitely. First of all, thank you very much for inviting us and giving your time. It's something like you are going to the next level. So naturally, we are quite excited and very happy also.
But you know the downside also. More media scrutiny, more quarterly interviews, more studio visits. So you're ready for that also?
Yeah, whatever the journey comes on the way, in this journey we will follow that. And
okay. First, let's talk about the area which you represent. You are India's biggest solar manufacturer and the biggest solar panel exporter to the world. How big is this industry and where do you fit in within that?
Thank you. Thank you for asking the global picture. If we look to the last year's number, 400 gigawatt plus globally, this is the installed solar capacity. And it's growing by at least 30% year on year. Obvious reasons, solar is a quick source of energy, cheap, clean, fast, so many reasons. Easy to install, we can put it anywhere we want where the sun is coming and all that. And this will grow further because we are seeing the energy demand globally it is increasing, not only because only of their self consumption, but energy security. Every country wants to reduce their imports and so many other geopolitical issues. Coming back to Indian story, our Honorable Prime Minister has given a vision of 500 gigawatt 2030. We have done 150. So there is a 350 gigawatt where the major stake will be of course the solar in that, and that we have to do in the next 5 years.
Okay.
So, and when we look back to the tenders and other things also, 70 to 80 gigawatt tenders we are seeing, and this gives a clear picture that there is a clear market till 2030.
You're talking about the domestic market.
Domestic market. But is that only the market now? First of all, whatever the gigawatt, megawatt we are speaking, it is a AC side. When we use a solar panels, normally to optimize it, we increase the 30 to 40% solar panels. Then the whatever the 150 gigawatt or 90 gigawatt is already on the ground. But if you look to that, maybe the real panels are maybe 120 or something like this. The another thing, the hydrogen. And whatever the energy consumption is using due to the data uses, due to the vehicles we are seeing with the batteries and all that. So this energy from the solar, till we search something which is a cheaper, faster, environmentally better than the solar, I think not only 2030, this will keep on growing in the coming years.
Just look at the numbers again just for the benefit of our viewers. What is the current installed solar capacity?
90 by 30th September.
Okay.
And again, this is called AC side.
Okay.
So when it is converted into the DC, it is at least 30% more.
Okay.
So close to 120.
Okay. Close to 120. And where
DC
do you
side.
see what would be the installed capacity according to you as per the government blueprint in next 5 years?
So if I take a 70% share of the solar in a balanced 350, I'm not talking about hydrogen or batteries or data center users, just a minimum number. In 350, if we are thinking about at least a 70% comes from the solar, it will be close to 240 gigawatt in next 5 years.
So it could double.
This is the AC side.
Okay.
So we have to increase at least 30% on this.
Okay. And
So
how
close
much?
to 300, 310 gigawatt.
Okay, this is the domestic capacity.
Absolutely domestic.
So now I'll just like to get into specifics of where Waaree fits in here. In last 3 years, which is from COVID, this is declared number in your DRHP, your profits have gone up by nearly 15 times. Your top line has gone up by nearly 4 times, approximately. What has changed? I mean, this entire solar opportunity existed earlier also. What has changed post-COVID for Waaree that the growth has been exponential?
So basically on the top line you will see there have been, like Sir said, demand in the domestic market as well as demand in our big market, which is the US.
Okay.
And it is really also driven post-COVID, what we hear as a China plus one strategy. So there is a diversification of supply chain and we are gearing up for that at Waaree. So, we have been exporting earlier also, and that export has taken a fillip in the last 2-3 years, number one. And looking at this, we are also venturing now into the US market with our own facility, which is going to come up in this fiscal year. So clearly very focused on volume growth, which is coming in these two main markets. But at the same time, like you mentioned, on the profitability. So we are very conscious that we want to grow with profitable numbers and make it sustainable as well. That's our constant effort as we speak.
Okay. Your margins have gone up in a similar, with similar zone. The average margins which were less than 5%, now they are north of 10%. Will this current run rate continue both in terms of growth as well as margins?
This margin came up after 15, 16 years of learning and a lot of things which we have done. There are various barriers of quality, certification, approvals. So it's not like they came suddenly. For example, to get on a white list or approved list of a large customer in United States, it takes 2 to 3 years. So you are investing for 2 to 3 years. So you are spending the money. Your margins at that time, they are coming down. And then once you start getting the orders and delivering it, margin improves. So the investment done earlier has came back. So as a company, we started solar when nobody was talking about solar in 2008. As a company, the mindset is innovative and the growth mindset and going something extra mile in terms of the approvals, quality, products, technology. That will definitely help the company continue to grow in all respect.
Okay. Now let's talk about what Waaree was and where Waaree could move. You started as a pure PV manufacturer where nothing was in-house, only assembly was in-house. Now you are doing backward integration. So 3 years out, what could Waaree be? It is right now called as a solar manufacturer or PV manufacturer. Could it become an energy solution company in 3 years from now?
Absolutely.
How? Why?
Now, where the world is changing and how we have to change ourselves continuously. We started with the solar panels to export in Europe. At that time, the Indian market was opening up. At that time, the government of Gujarat, under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, came up with the Gujarat Solar Mission. And suddenly the demand came for the large installation in the country, which was never before. So the EPC started coming in. And we were the first on those days to start the EPC projects. And today it is under the name of Waaree Renewable Technology. So the mindset is what we do more to meet the customer's demand. Now customers' demands are shifting to the storage. So we are working on the batteries. Customers are talking about the hydrogen. We had applied for the PLI for the hydrogen. We own 300 megawatt and our electrolyzer factory is coming up.
This is backward. Can you just break it for our viewers?
So this is the solution side.
Okay.
Now to make the solar panels, we were dependent on China. Now customer wants this is outside China or made in India with the government policies. So to make the solar panels, we have to make the solar cells.
Okay.
So solar cells, even we have before the PLI scheme, we started the work. And 5.4 gigawatt of the solar cell factory where you have visited is getting ready, and in this fiscal year this factory will be completely operational.
So what happens when all these expansions kick in? The margins of 12-13%, will they crawl up or will they leap up?
They will grow, I can only tell that. They will grow, number one, but most importantly, we'll be able to satisfy the customer's requirement. For example, Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Yojana or Pradhan Mantri Kusum Yojana, these are very large projects. 1 crore roofs, we are talking about 30 gigawatt additional rooftop market, or Kusum is much more about 30. So here in the both the projects, we need a cells made in India. So margins will definitely be helping us there, but most importantly, we'll be able to satisfy the customer demands. The next thing now, some customer who are looking for the entire supply chain from India, they need even ingot and wafers from India.
Okay.
So the new PLI which we have owned for the 6 gigawatt, this is addition to the 5.4 gigawatt and 13.3 gigawatt the module lines we have today. So this new 6 gigawatt PLI will further help us to offer the customer a solution from made in India ingot to the module, and with the help of our suppliers with whom we are working, everything made in India in that solar panel.
How much is made in India for the world for Waaree? As percentage of your turnover. And
So,
when you export, are margins higher than India?
So in FY24, roughly about 58% to 60% of our products were exported.
This is where you compete with China. This is where you compete with the world.
We do compete with the world,
Okay.
but obviously we are also creating our new supply chains because there is a non-China demand even in the US. So there is an alternative supply chain also which we are building even as we speak now. Like I said, 40% is domestic, and as we integrate further, you know, today we are about 13.3 gigawatts. We will, with the PLI and our new factory, we'll go up to 21. We'll also have a cell capacity of 11 gigawatts and ingot wafer of 6. So this gives us a lot of flexibility to not only cater to make in India, but also to look at the US export markets and of course the other markets as they develop. So I think we retain the flexibility to go either way.
Okay. Now let's understand, why should our viewers subscribe in Waaree Energies? The big picture is great. The size of opportunity, like we say, the size of the pond is great. Now let's look at the risk. Any investment comes with risk. You'll appreciate my question. Question number one, which is the obvious risk, is there is over dependence on this China plus one. What if policy changes, both locally and globally? Then what happens?
As a company, we have been working on this all kind of the risk. So are we developing a products enough? So today we have the largest product range. So we talk about somebody comes for the application, he wants a solar panel like this carpet, we say it is available.
What is the smallest solar panel you have? Mobile phone?
Yeah.
Your mobile phone can work on solar panel?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you want to run the auto rickshaws on the solar panel, we are running the 2 auto rickshaws now. So number one, under de-risking the company is how much we are working on the new products, new solutions development, and in the entire energy transition, how much we are increasing our space into that. The second thing comes how geographically we are diversifying ourselves. For example, in United States now we are starting the new factory, which will be operational in the next quarter. Machines are in and the work is going on there. The third thing comes how much we are offering a differentiation between the products and all that. So that DNA of the company will continue, and that's our performance peaks today.
So it is not only this policy benefit which you have. I mean, even if China plus one globally, if a policy change happens, you will continue to grow.
Right.
Okay. Second is competition. Tatas, Ambanis, Adanis, they've gone on record and they've said that we are moving into what is called as the solar solution business. And we are looking at giants coming in. You'll appreciate my question. When large corporate groups, they come into a business, either there could be a price war or there could be a margin war, like the Geo moment.
Right.
Is that a reasonable concern for your business?
I think the difference here I see is the global market, like we discussed, we spoke about also the Indian market. The market is so big, even if we're talking about a 2 lakh crores annual market. And this competition was always there, so nothing is coming new. Till March last year, if you look to the import numbers, 90% of the solar panels in India were imported outside.
Okay.
And
90% were imported from outside.
From the outside.
Okay.
And they were coming from the world's giants.
Okay.
Right. So we as a company in the business for 16 years, if we leave last these 6 months now, 15 and a half years, we were competing with the global giants.
Okay.
So competition was
Always
there. But we could navigate ourselves by this differentiation, products, geography, technology, solutions, and that DNA will continue. So competition was there, is there, and will be more. How we make ourselves much stronger for all the time, and that's companies working on that all the time.
So global China plus one, you're de-risking yourself. Competition was always there. So even if domestic competition comes in, there is enough and more, things which you have in place. So what are those levers which will ensure that when you migrate from being a solar manufacturer or solar panel manufacturer to energy solution provider, when will that migration be visible? FY26, FY27, FY28, when will we start seeing it?
So I think our Orissa factory, for which also we are raising the IPO fund, the total size is about 9,000 crores. This is going to come in 2 years. The capex is going to be spread over 2 years, and after 2 years we will have at least part of the chain fully integrated. And of course, we are looking at all active other spaces like Sir said, to diversify into solution, but that will develop, and we'll talk about it more in the coming months. But clearly, I think what is important for Waaree is that we are diversifying geographically, even our customer basis, and so far we have done, really without the Indian benefits of PLI or even the IRA benefits of US. So it's based on a global supply chain which we are very conscious of. Further, we will get Philip, but of course we are looking at how much flexibility in the business we can bring through all these elements.
But you don't see the fear of disruption in the business which you are present, because the way disruption is moving, the way battery costs are coming down, isn't that a real fear?
Yeah, just to add on your earlier question, the cell production will start in this financial year, 5.4 gigawatts.
So cell is what goes in between a solar panel. I think we're showing some pictures also.
In the solar panels, we use the cells, which we are importing today.
Okay.
And this will start the production here.
And if you start doing it, how much margins?
So there will be a definitely
uptick in margins.
Yeah, there will be increase of to answer your earlier question, how this will be the.
Okay. So the cell has already started. So panel, then cell, and then what's after that?
Then the wafer and the ingot.
And this everything should be ready in 3 years.
2 years, yeah.
2 years.
Right.
So Waaree is getting ready for a giant leap in margins.
I will not say that, but I will say that we are working always in that direction as our number speaks in the past. Our profit has been.
I'll share some data with you.
Yeah.
The cost of 1 unit of solar energy 10 years ago was 15 rupees per unit.
Right.
When we spoke to you last, it was 4 rupees. Now it's come to 3.5 rupees. It could go to 1 rupees. You are in an industry where the cost of production keeps on coming down. So if the cost of production keeps on coming down, how would you be able to sell the cells which you will be making?
What I have seen is when I started solar business, customers were talking about kilowatt. In other words, we are talking about in a grams, in a common language.
Okay.
Right? After that, people have started speaking in a kilo.
Okay. Okay.
Why? The price,
So
when we started, it was 400 rupees when I came into started thinking
400 rupees?
The watt. And then it came to the 250 rupees a watt of the solar panel. When the people are speaking about 2-4 kilowatt le lete, in other words. Now, with the price of 15 rupees a watt from 250, normal discussion starts with our requirement is a 1 gigawatt, 2 gigawatt. So, in common language, grams, kilos, quintals, and now
it's like floppy disk.
Right.
You're buying a floppy disk. I mean, I remember in my school, 1 GB was for 100 rupees, and today the cloud is 70 rupees for 1 TB.
No, I think during your school days it should be the MB. There was no GB. I don't think so. It was GB on those days.
Choti.
Yeah. So the density is increasing, and same thing is happening in solar panels. So if the prices are coming down, market will open up further. Okay. When we are seeing the roofs in this country, and even if 5% they are not covered, that means there is a space of 95% to cover it again.
That's a great point. I mean, I was looking at some data which says that 50% of the energy gas emissions on the planet are because of electricity generation, and we know what's happening to the planet. So it's like, it's the need of the hour, and it's a necessity for what we owe to the future generation in terms of energy migration. Before we wrap, why don't we introduce you as a promoter? Tell us about you. You come from very humble beginnings. Waaree is a small town in Maharashtra. So tell us a bit about your background.
I am born in a Tunki, which is very close to the Waaree, where in that area famous Hanumanji temple is here. And of course, on those days there was no school in the village, so you had to go to the another village. Completed the 10th there and came to the Mumbai and stayed in a hostel, done my graduation in a commerce. But after 12th, it was a requirement to earn some money for a day-to-day livings. So started some trading and then moved to the instrumentation trading, from instrumentation trading to the manufacturing, expansion, new technologies, and 2007 came into the solar. So in short, it was always doing something new, better.
But you've dedicated your career and your life to solar as a...
From 2007 onwards, you can say that this became like a passion and a business.
तो आपके घर पे कौन सी रूफटॉप है?
हमारे घर पे तो बिल्डिंग में बॉम्बे में रहते हैं तो एक कॉमन है, बट जो फैक्ट्री है हमारी वो पहले दिन से ही हम लोग सोलर पे लगाते हैं.
So are you ready to be a billionaire if the calculations are to be right?
I think it is not important for us. For us is how ahead we are in technology, customer service, and how fast we bring each and every electron of the energy we are using, how fast we make it green.
Yeah. So nice
That should be the dream, not the billionaire.
So nice to hear that, but good luck. Thank you very much. And I always say that when I meet promoters that I mean, for any entrepreneur to have humble beginnings and then to take the company public, getting ready for more quarterly interviews, more quarterly updates, I think is quite extraordinary. Congratulations on this brilliant journey and good luck with the IPO.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting us and giving your time. Thank you.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.